Previously on Wisecrack. You had Jodi catching you up, digging around in the UK, but look, I figured since I lived through it all, I'd be better to chime in with what really happened that night. Right, Jodi met my two glorious brothers, Sam, who insists Brett couldn't be a killer, which is a choice, and Jack, who we kind of forgot to tell about any of it. Oops, sorry. Then came the trial. Brett was silent for most of it, until one sharp, unsettling outburst. He was found guilty, rightfully. But here's what still shakes me. While he was serving his sentence, two ultra-religious cellmates claimed he was possessed, and they decided to cleanse him. They killed him. They said it was an exorcism that they were told to do by God. Anyway, where did we leave off? Oh yeah, Jodi is off to the happiest place on earth. Not Disneyland, Stanstead, Mount Fitchett. Godspeed, Jodi.
For the first time in 10 years, I am podcast free, which feels horrible. I'm desperately looking for another podcast to do.
Really? Oh my God!
While I was in London, I made some calls to Ed's old friends, the ones who knew him best around the time of the murders. One name I found on the flyer they handed me at Ed's Edinburgh show was the director of his comedy set, Sophie Hagen.
I actually remember exactly when I met Ed because I was blown away by how funny he was. It was at a pub called The Queen's Head in Camden in London. Ed was sitting there all chubby. He used to be really fat, and he was so funny about it. And he was sitting in the corner, jumping up and down like a little child, saying, guys, can you believe they're going to let us do comedy?
Sophie is a force in her own right. A veteran of stand-up specials and podcasts, and in fact, the year before Ed premiered his show, Sophie won Best Newcomer at the Edinburgh Fringe. I was hoping to get a glimpse into Ed's mental state only months after the murders. What I got was something else entirely.
So the way I remember it was he called me one night and told me the story of what had happened. And being the sort of cynical person that I probably was, I was like, Ed, this is a show. Would you do this on stage? And I remember him sounding surprised, being like, really? You think I should? He then said, well, would you want to help out with it? And I was like, oh, yeah, definitely. And I told him that I had a few rules. I had a few I can only work on this if you're truthful about it. If you work hard and you tell the truth, then I'm absolutely on board. I would love to help. So it all came crashing down around the same time. He tells a story in the show about how, by accident, his email and number was printed on the front page of his local paper. And I'd said to him the whole time we were working on the show, I'd said, oh, we have to see this. We need to post it on Instagram or show it in the show. We need to see this because this is so funny. And he kept saying, yeah, I will. We have it at home. And every time I asked, he'd say, oh, yeah, my brother's sending it or whatever. So around this time when I started doubting him in general and realized he'd told a lot of lies, I pressed him on it. And I was like, Ed, can I see that newspaper now, please? And he got really defensive and was like, oh, you don't trust me. And I was like, that sounds like what liars do when they're caught out on a lie. And it actually took some time, maybe days, before I thought, if he's willing to lie about all these other big things, could he lie about this? And I started Googling it frantically to find any evidence of this having happened. And I believe I did find articles about it having happened, but I don't think, if I remember correctly, I didn't find anything that backed up his side of the story. I don't remember any mentioning of the neighbor, of Brett trying to break into another house. There was no mention of Ed anywhere. Then when I pressed him on it a tiny bit and said, Ed, how much of this is true? He again became incredibly angry and defensive and started blaming me for all sorts of things. And I remember just thinking, okay, do you know what? I now don't know how much is true at all about him, his life, anything. So I doubt that this story is true, and I don't know, and at that point, I didn't care, and then I basically haven't really spoken to him or seen him since. So I think as soon as I realized that he told not just one but multiple lies, I stopped, because the person I loved and the person I had this very close relationship with, I didn't know how much of that was an actual person and how much of that was just lies.
Sophie's claims changed the way I saw everything. In all my years of working in true crime, I knew to document the cleanest timeline possible, layering eyewitness accounts and police reports to build a tight play-by-play of exactly what happened, which I had done thoroughly. The problem was, the subject of my story wasn't at the crime scene. He was 3 doors down, asleep. He's never been contacted by the police to give a statement, much less sworn under oath to anything he witnessed. Had I convinced myself of a story that wasn't true? Had I made the fatal mistake of trying to fit Ed's comedy into the cold hard facts, instead of the other way around? What if there was a world in which Brett Rogers committed the murders, but never came to Ed's house, never banged on the door? It would mean Ed was only adjacent to the crime, feet from it, but he never once crossed Brett's mind that night. And it would also mean that Ed has shoehorned himself into a crime that has nothing to do with him, for the worst possible reason: fame. I'm Jodi Tovey, and this is Wisecrack. Episode 4, Brett Who? As Ed picks me up outside of my Airbnb, the only thing I wanted to do was meet his parents. They could quickly corroborate his story and get these thoughts out of my head. But Ed was in no hurry to get to his house. He decided I needed a tour of the village first.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Welcome to Stanstead.
This is the first part.
So I decided to play it cool, go with the flow. If there was anything to Sophie's claims, they'd soon be apparent. And I didn't want to rattle Ed either.
So, this is the entrance. It's going to take about 10 minutes to drive through the entire thing.
Amazing. This looks like a storybook. Like, these homes right here are just gorgeous. They all kind of have like that brown gingerbread look, and then the Tudor style with the bricks. They're very pretty. That is literally a straw roof that we just passed.
Oh, you're going to pass some more?
I had pictured Stanstead as a quiet, pastoral town. And on the surface, it is. But when it's just me and Ed, he doesn't hold back. To him, Stanstead is frozen in time, filled with men grinding away at mundane jobs and their wives who sneer at the wealth in London.
I haven't seen a person, I'll be honest with you.
No, we don't have many of them. Do you like pigeons?
They are quite noisy.
These are quite, it always reminds me of Privet Drive from Harry Potter.
It's just like Privet Drive.
It does, doesn't it?
Stanstead might have spent the rest of eternity as a sleepy little village, but in the 1960s, a local military airfield was converted into an international airport serving London. Now, on any given day, that airport sees approximately 80,000 passengers. Airline crews from India and Africa fill the local pubs for a quick pint between flights. But the actual village has an older working-class population of just around 8,000 people.
So now we're going into Lower Street. I think there's about 6 businesses down here. 3 of them are pubs. What are you laughing at my village for?
I'm not laughing. I mean, I am laughing. Of the 6 businesses, 3 of them are pubs.
Yeah.
Oh, here's a person. Well,
That's Tony. That's the carpenter my dad used to work for.
That really is Tony.
That's
that
Tony.
person, the one person we just saw.
So what this kid's doing now, I did my entire life, just on a bike with a backpack on, riding somewhere, and that's all we did. We woke up.
As we drive through its narrow streets, watching him retrace old paths and point out forgotten landmarks, I sense something buried beneath the cynicism. Something more than just a dark nostalgia.
That's the tennis club. I'm not allowed back in there anymore because me and my friends accidentally nearly set it on fire.
We'll come back to that.
We will, yeah.
He's on edge, too, taking easy jabs, checking the time, scanning his surroundings. But with absolutely no chance of running into Brett, I can't figure out what has him so anxious. I even wonder if he knows I've talked to Sophie.
Did you see that place called the Mayflower?
Uh-huh.
That is the least authentic Chinese you're ever going to do. The guy that owns its name is Kevin. Get the fuck out. And you've just left Stanstead.
Wait, we just...
Yeah.
Okay, so we're out. I'm not kidding. So that was maybe a 2-minute drive that we just drove through the entire town.
Yeah.
Maybe 2 minutes.
It's why I was so keen to leave. Because that 2-minute drive is a 5-minute walk and you know everyone.
Wow.
You know everything.
And then it hits me. Ed's feeling vulnerable, exposed. We're about to relive the worst night of his life. But this time, we aren't using Ed's script. And all the characters in Ed's world can speak for themselves.
From the studio who brought you The Piketon Massacre and Murder 101, this is Incels.
I am a loser. If I was a woman, I wouldn't date me either.
From the dark corners of the web, an emerging mindset.
If I can't have you, girls, I will destroy you.
A kind of subculture, a hidden world of resentment, cynicism, anger against women.
A seed of loneliness explodes.
I just hate myself.
I don't know why you girls aren't attracted to me, but I will punish you all for it.
At a deadly tipping point.
Incels will be added to the terrorism guide.
Police say a driver intentionally drove into a crowd, killing 10 people.
Tomorrow is the day of retribution. I will have my revenge.
This is Incels. Listen to Season 1 of Incels on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is a tape-recorded statement. The person being interviewed is Krista Gale Pike. This is in regards to the death of a Colleen Slimmer.
She just started going off on me, but I hit her. And I just hit her and hit her and hit her and hit her.
On a cold January day in 1995, 18-year-old Krista Pike killed 19-year-old Colleen Slemmer in the woods of Knoxville, Tennessee. Since her conviction, Krista has been sitting on death row.
The state has asked for an execution date for Krista.
We let people languish in prison for decades, raising questions about who we consider fundamentally unrestorable. How does someone prove that they deserve to live?
We are starting the recording now. Please state your first and last name.
Krista Pike.
Listen to Unrestorable Season 2, Proof of Life, on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Nicole Angemi, PA and creator of the autopsy blog, The Gross Room.
And I'm Maria Q. Kane. Together, we're the mother-daughter duo behind the Mother Knows Death podcast.
On our show, we tackle burning questions like what happens when you're stuck in an amusement ride upside down for hours? Or why are celebrities always eating their placentas? Is the latest TikTok trend dangerous?
The answer is yes. It's always yes.
And most importantly, what is anal breathing?
Each week we explore the most bizarre stories in the news, and believe us, it just gets weirder every week. We share real-life stories, dissect shocking autopsy findings, and delve into the dark humor that comes with discussing death.
And now we are excited to announce that we are joining the iHeart Podcast Network.
Whether you're a true crime aficionado or just have a tinge of morbid curiosity, there's something for everyone on Mother Knows Death.
New episodes of our show drop twice a week. Listen to Mother Knows Death on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search Mother Knows Death.
At 19, Elena Sada believed she had found her calling. In the new season of Sacred Scandal, we pull back the curtain on a life built on devotion and deception. A man of God, Marcial Maciel, looked Elena in the eye and promised her a life of purpose within the Legion of Christ.
My name is Elena Sada, and this is my story. It's a story of how I learned to hide, to cry, to survive, and eventually, how I got out.
This season on Sacred Scandal, hear the full story from the woman who lived it. Witness the journey from devout follower to determined survivor as Elena exposes the man behind the cloth and the system that protected him. Even the darkest secrets eventually find their way to the light. Listen to Sacred Scandal, the mini secrets of Marcial Maciel, as part of the My Cultura podcast network on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
So your house is that way. I know.
We turn off Cambridge Street and into a labyrinth of dark brick townhouses attached together in 2s and 3s. From sheer muscle memory, Ed weaves us through the maze and up to a small cluster of homes. Before I meet Ed's parents, there's one house he wants me to see first.
All right, so we're walking right outside of Brett's house.
Yeah, that's the bedroom window.
Oh my God, you are right next door to, I mean, not adjacent, perfectly adjacent, but what, like?
The Rogers home, a modest 2-story townhouse, the kind you'd pass without a second glance. And just a few feet away sits the Hedges house. Standing in the home's shadow where so much blood was shed, I could sense a lingering chill in the air. His voice deepens into a whisper.
30 seconds. See that? And
a 30-second walk.
That's the distance between us two.
This bench that we're standing next to right now was actually closer to your house.
Closer to my house and also under a street light.
And that's where they found Brett.
Yeah.
But just over our shoulders is a completely different vibe. We walk just a few steps into a blooming garden, through a weathered doorstep, and into Ed's childhood home.
Number 40.
Here we go. Hello. Mum, this is Jodi. Come say hello.
Hi, very nice to meet you. How are you? Can I give you a hug? Nice to meet you. How's it going? Yes, good to meet you. Hello. Yes, hello. Hello.
We're greeted by Ed's mother, Carol. Light brown hair, glasses, and a warmth that hits instantly. She's the picture of a British mom in every sense.
Hello.
You've been eliminated completely. I just want to point out that all I see is the grandkids' photos.
No, it's cool because there are photos of Sam and Jack around here. And then...
Yeah, I took them down. Taken down, removed.
You took them down from there?
As I'm shown around, I notice Ed and his mom speak in glances and smirks, like whole conversations pass without a word. A habit I imagine shaped in a house where his father's temper could erupt without warning. And truthfully, he was the one I was most nervous to meet.
John, they're here. Edward's here.
This is Father, John. This is Jodi.
Hi, nice to meet you.
How are you doing? We have a dining room table there.
At 70 years old, John is a hulking man with broad shoulders and 8 fingers, just as legend would have it. However, Ed tells me his father is not the gruff man portrayed in his set anymore. Age and grandchildren will do that to a person. We all sit, Ed, John, Carol, and me, and after a few lighthearted stories about Ed's childhood mischief, I cut to the chase. I ask about that night.
I came home at 6:30, and I'm usually the first one home. And it had been a rough day at work, and it was hot, and I just thought, I can't be bothered. And then when he came in, just as he got through the door, I said, do you fancy fish and chips tonight? I don't feel like cooking. And you went over.
John often goes over to pick up dinner from one of their favorite restaurants, Churchill's, a 3-minute walk from their house.
And when you came back, he said, oh, I just saw Jill over there, and she was really weird.
As a reminder, Jill, or Jillian, is Brett's mother.
She came in, but she didn't order anything, you said.
She was agitated.
Yeah. And then she left. And then when you come back here to me, you said that you passed Brett and Brett looked weird.
Yeah, Melly always looked weird. It wasn't right. It wasn't. Something wasn't right.
But you said she was drunk.
I just thought it was a bad evening for him.
But you did say she was drunk, didn't you?
Oh, yeah, she'd had some drink. Yeah, she was definitely under the influence.
And that's why he said it, because it was sort of like tea time.
So then you guys came back, had your dinner, and then what happened after dinner?
It was just like a normal night. We watched TV and we went up to bed. Ed let himself in because we were in bed. And then the dogs all started barking. I looked out the window and there was a policeman.
A policeman? This is the first I've heard of the police in the front garden, long before any knocking.
Which window were you looking out of? Was
my bedroom window.
Directly above him.
Well, at that point, our bed went that way, so I have to have the window open.
Wasn't a policeman in the front garden at that point?
Well, there was someone in the...
There was somebody in the front garden.
the front garden running about because...
Who later banged on the door, went into the garden, tried to get in that way. I don't think that was a policeman.
I took over for the front because I did get up, but I slept through most of it because I went back to sleep straight away, and I got out here and was looking out.
Yeah, but that was because you thought someone was trying to...
I thought someone was trying to steal the car. And also the side gate here, when that opens and swings back and hits the house, you can hear it go bonk because it's right the other side of that brickwork. And I heard that, and I thought, what's happening?
So you heard the gate slam over here.
Yeah.
And then where did that person go?
I didn't see anyone. All I did, have a look, heard the gate gone, but already had the banging at the door. They said there was a police helicopter up there, there's policemen on the green and whatnot. I said, well, don't worry then, because we're surrounded by the police, so we're perfectly safe.
Yeah. Rewind to the banging. So we watch TV, we go to bed, and then when did the banging happen? Is there a rough time, or who woke up first?
I don't know what the time was because I didn't look at the clock. I woke up first and then I came into you, didn't I?
Yeah, so what we've just said and what we're saying now are two different things completely.
What do you mean?
Well, you just said you woke up, looked out the window and went back to bed, and now you came...
No. I went back to you in the bedroom.
So, as I remember it...
Yeah.
The banging happened. You heard it outside your window.
Yeah.
Yeah, because it was on the front garden. And someone who you think was a police officer, but that story doesn't check out at all.
Well, I don't know who it was.
It's subtle, but I notice that Ed is leading his mom, correcting her.
Whoever it was trying to get in our front door, went into our garden, knew the back gate, ran to our garden, and tried to get in the back door.
That doesn't sound like a police officer.
Doesn't sound like a police officer to me.
He doesn't do that.
And the banging? You think a police officer is going to not bang at that door that hard? You don't think police have got the mallet thing that can get a back door open?
Yeah, but we haven't done anything wrong.
So cute.
He's surmising that Brett might have tried to run.
You're not on the stand. I just want you to know that. You're not in trouble.
Carol is flustered now. Her recollection is being subversively challenged. I remind her this isn't an interrogation. I'm just trying to understand. Wanting a clearer picture, I switch tactics.
Ed, why don't you tell the story and then John and Carol jump in when you remember something.
We'll pull it to pieces, okay?
Yeah.
Challenge me on whatever you need to.
Yeah. You get in from the gig.
I get in from the gig. I walk upstairs. This is about 11:30. I had planned to come home at about 8, 9 that night, so the front door was left unlocked when they went to bed, because they were expecting me shortly afterwards. I walk upstairs, I go into my bed, I go to sleep. While I was asleep, from what I understand, there was noise in the front garden. Someone was outside, they were banging on the door. Then you come to my room, and that's when I wake up. You're at the end of my bed, because my bed was against that wall, and you were looking out the window, and you said, whatever you do, don't turn on the lights.
That line is quite possibly the most memorable, most chilling line straight from Ed's set. And the way they said it in unison, eyes locked, it's eerie. Is it possible she's quoting Ed's set just to stick to his contrived story? Or is this a shared moment of clarity in a night of chaos, the one petrifying moment that's seared in both of their minds?
So I get out of bed, I go looking for Dad. Dad was awake at this point, standing at the window, And the banging was still happening at that point.
Yeah, I was looking out the window over the green.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I start to go downstairs and both of you basically say, don't do that. At some stage, because I remember being on the landing with you, panicking, yeah, pre-helicopters, post-banging. That's when the gate hit the wall.
Right, yeah.
Yes.
And then
I heard they hit the wall.
Someone went down the side gate. We didn't have the decking at the time. Down the side gate into the garden.
It was different then.
And let me refresh your memory a little bit. Our door used to look different. It used to have a gold handle.
Yes.
You pulled the handle by being up. The handle was pulled down. Obviously, whoever was outside couldn't get in. And then they left.
Could have been the end of us.
Could have been the end of us. John finally lets down his guard long enough to let me know his real feelings. He too thinks Brett was attempting to break into his house, possibly to hurt his family. Just as Ed contends in his set, his father, who was loath to show weakness, was indeed scared that night. But I still can't quite get a read on Carol. Is she just having trouble putting words to an indescribable night 8 years ago? Or is she withholding something from me?
From the studio who brought you The Piketon Massacre and Murder 101, this is Incels.
I am a loser. If I was a woman, I wouldn't date me either.
From the dark corners of the web, an emerging mindset.
If I can't have you, girls, I will destroy you.
A kind of subculture, a hidden world of resentment, cynicism, anger against women.
A seed of loneliness explodes.
I just hate myself.
I don't know why you girls aren't attracted to me, but I will punish you all for it.
At a deadly tipping point.
Incels will be added to the terrorism guide.
Police say a driver intentionally drove into a crowd, killing 10 people.
Tomorrow is the day of retribution. I will have my revenge.
This is Incels. Listen to Season 1 of Incels on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
This is a tape-recorded statement. Person being interviewed is Krista Gale Pike. This is in regards to the death of a Colleen Slimmer.
She just started going off on me, but I hit her. And I just hit her and hit her and hit her and hit her.
On a cold January day in 1995, 18-year-old Krista Pike killed 19-year-old Colleen Slemmer in the woods of Knoxville, Tennessee. Since her conviction, Krista has been sitting on death row.
The state has asked for an execution date for Krista.
We let people languish in prison for decades, raising questions about who we consider fundamentally unrestorable. How does someone prove that they deserve to live?
We are starting the recording now. Please state your first and last name.
Krista Pike.
Listen to Unrestorable Season 2, Proof of Life, on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
Hi, I'm Nicole Angemi, PA and creator of the autopsy blog, The Gross Room.
And I'm Maria Q. Kane. Together, we're the mother-daughter duo behind the Mother Knows Death podcast.
On our show, we tackle burning questions like what happens when you're stuck in an amusement ride upside down for hours, or why are celebrities always eating their placentas? Is the latest TikTok trend dangerous?
The answer is yes. It's always yes.
And most importantly, what is anal breathing?
Each week we explore the most bizarre stories in the news, and believe us, it just gets weirder every week. We share real-life stories, dissect shocking autopsy findings, and delve into the dark humor that comes with discussing death.
And now we are excited to announce that we are joining the iHeart Podcast Network.
Whether you're a true crime aficionado or just have a tinge of morbid curiosity, there's something for everyone on Mother Knows Death.
New episodes of our show drop twice a week. Listen to Mother Knows Death on America's #1 podcast network, iHeart. Open your free iHeart app and search Mother Knows Death.
At 19, Elena Sada believed she had found her calling. In the new season of Sacred Scandal, we pull back the curtain on a life built on devotion and deception. A man of God, Marcial Maciel, looked Elena in the eye and promised her a life of purpose within the Legion of Christ.
My name is Elena Sada, and this is my story. It's a story of how I learned to hide, to cry, to survive, and eventually, how I got out.
This season on Sacred Scandal, hear the full story from the woman who lived it. Witness the journey from devout follower to determined survivor as Elena exposes the man behind the cloth and the system that protected him. Even the darkest secrets eventually find their way to the light. Listen to Sacred Scandal, the mini secrets of Marcial Maciel, as part of the My Cultura podcast network on the iHeartRadio app, Apple Podcasts, or wherever you get your podcasts.
I mentioned I was a little bit chubbier as a kid. My mum, my whole family were all a little bit chubby. She joined a weight loss club, and they all started taking these silly little weight loss pills, and they lost loads of weight. They lost heaps of weight, but she was taking these weight loss pills, and then she couldn't get the weight loss pills anymore. So she started looking, and she met someone online. She made a friend on Farmville who knew somewhere that could get these weight loss pills, and she started getting them delivered to the house. A package turned up at the door. My mum wasn't home. My brother answered the door. He looked at the package, and it was covered in Mandarin. And he was like, that's weird. And so he took it inside and he went onto the family computer. He translated it. She got really angry. And Jack went, what have you been taking? She was like, weight loss pills. He went, where did you get them from? She went, I met a man called Lee on Farmville. He sends them to me. And Jack said, what does Lee look like? My mum said, well, he's of Asian descent. He's got a lot of tattoos. And Jack went, out of interest, is he missing any fingers? And she was like, yeah, he is missing a finger because my dad's missing a finger. She was like, he's missing a bit of his pinky finger. If you know anything about the Triad Gang, that's an initiation to them. My brother Googled the ingredients, and my mother had been taking crystal meth for 6 months that she was buying off the Triads on Farmville. That's not one of the lies. That shit happened. She did that. And do you know what makes it worse? Is Jack was like, how long have you been taking these pills? Does anyone else take them? My mum was like, yeah, I sell them to the village. I thought that was as bad as it could get. It's not. My mum was like, oh, God. Oh, no. I'm going to have to stop, aren't I? And Jack was like, yeah, you can't keep taking them. And she went, no, not stop that. Not worried about stopping that. Obviously, I can't keep taking them. I'm going to have to stop selling them to the girls in the village. My mother was a meth dealer in East Anglia in London, just pushing meth to all these... To be fair, our house has never been cleaner.
On stage, Ed portrays his mother as wonderfully daffy, even gullible. It adds such charm to Ed's set, but after my sit-down with the family, I was starting to get nervous. Why does Carol seem so shaken by my questions? So I decided to pull Carol aside, away from Ed and John, to see if I could get a straight answer out of her. I asked her to climb the narrow stairs to the Hedges' second floor. From inside Ed's small bedroom, where she woke her son and warned him not to turn on the lights, it all came rushing back.
It wasn't knocking, it was banging. Mm-hmm. There was banging. And then I thought, what is that? But I jumped up. I didn't wake John up because he gets up so early. I thought that, but it was also the dogs were going absolutely berserk. And then I started panicking because you could hear someone out there in the back garden. There's something going on out there and I don't know what it is. I was petrified. I thought we were getting broken into. By that time there was helicopters and everything going out there. There was a lot of police running up the alleyway. And that bit there was like the apocalypse.
Carol and I joined the boys back downstairs, and I think even Ed could see the relief on my face. I try to imagine being in Ed's shoes, sitting across from my own parents asking them to recall a frenzied night from 8 years ago. The uncertainty, the gaps in memory, it would probably sound a lot like this. But here's the thing. What they're saying does line up with Ed's version of events. Maybe not in perfect order or sequence, but they remember someone in the front garden and the gate slamming against the back brick wall. They remember someone circling the house and trying to get into the upside-down lock. They remember the helicopters and the officers on the green behind the house. And most importantly, they remember the banging at the front door. Then, I learned something that both shocked me and completely wiped away all my suspicions of Ed's parents.
Ed is very secretive about his gigs. Right? Even this, what he's doing now today.
Oh, yeah, we
know
get
nothing.
Despite all of his success, Ed's parents have never been to one of his comedy sets. They didn't even know Ed talks about Brett Rogers on stage because they've never seen him perform. They're not trying to match up with any script of Ed's. They're just telling the truth as they remember it.
All we knew, he said, they're just coming to talk to you. That's it, just about me, that's it. Now that he's going through, we thought he was talking about you, but it's sort of...
Talking about everything.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So he's, even this, we know. We've never seen Edward perform.
No wonder Carol seemed a little rattled by my questions. Ed had prepared her to meet me, but he hadn't told either of his parents I'd be asking about Brett Rogers. As Ed drove me back to my Airbnb, I could tell he was just as exhausted as I was. Spending the day with your parents can do that to you.
Yep. I lost my virginity in that forest.
Just so again, there's no cameras.
No more magical place to lose your virginity than a forest. That's where trolls live.
It's not very...
But Ed had one more setting from his comedy show that he wants to show me.
This is the Cricket Club. This is where I spent pretty much every day of my childhood. I was mad about it.
It's a lot smaller than I was picturing. So what age were you hanging out here as early as?
13, 12, 13.
And so you would just walk from your house?
Walk from my house up to here, meet a load of people. It was the coolest place in the world because you'd have this like congregation of like men of loads of different ages and you would be drinking.
Remind me what the legal age is, minimum for drinking here?
Legal?
Yeah.
18. Technical, 14.
And so you were here drinking as early as 14?
12, 13, 14.
12?
Yeah, around that.
Wow.
And not like heavily. Like...
No, I know.
Ed tells me he and Brett would spend most afternoons about 100 yards from each other, just playing different sports. The cricket field literally overlaps the football field.
This is where I want the ball to go.
Okay.
Right here, okay?
So I should throw the ball there.
Though he hadn't pitched in over a decade, he was eager to teach me how, for the comic relief, no doubt.
It's a hop, skip, jump thing. So you start off, you go like 1, 2, 3, 4, and then as you transfer your weight.
1, 2, 3, 4, and then is it a hitch kick? Like, do I do this and then? Well, all right.
Ed is the only Hedges who plays cricket. No legacy, no tradition. As a kid, he just needed something that was his own.
That was like a pitch. You want to bring your arm around, so.
Okay.
After many failed attempts, we grab a pint at the clubhouse, a small wooden shed packed with team photos stretching across a century. I scan the walls until I spot Ed, young, determined, part of something bigger. He was, in fact, a great cricket player, one that found a community through his talent. He wasn't a chubby loner who was given a sportsman award out of pity. I thought back to Sophie's issues with Ed. She's right. There are things he has skewed in his set, seemingly more than just the 3 lies he warns his audiences about. I've been clocking the disparities in Ed's story, and I'm starting to get concerned that he's never bothered to disclose these half-truths to me before. I get it, comedians don't swear on a Bible before grabbing the mic, but I felt like Ed owed me the full truth before I got on a plane to the UK. It was a confrontation between Ed and I that was brewing in the background, and neither of us wanted to have it. But that would have to wait for now. There was one person I needed to speak to first. He'd moved away from Stanstead, all but disappeared from his old social circles. In fact, he hadn't spoken to anyone in the media since the year of the murders. If anyone had insight into the inner workings of Brett's mind and could tell me why he showed up on Ed's doorstep, it would be him. And if he answered the door, I'd be face to face with the man who raised a killer. Next time on Wisecrack.
I mean, she says that you made a lot of this stuff up. What's true and what's not?
So you're saying this isn't safe?
I personally would not go there. Or please bring someone with you. Oh gosh, now I'm nervous. Can you please be careful?